One of the things that I wanted to share with you is this idea of science and the importance of science in what we do to serve the clientele that we call friends. The mission of this center is interesting. It's remained unchanged for 75 years, and we define that as our mission to provide science-based information to address the challenges that are impacting the owners and managers of Florida's grazing lands. That's all of you here today. In the newspaper that Andrea put together, I expanded on that further and talked about the importance of this science, and I used the word scholarship. Within academia, we talk about this word scholarship, but I think in terms of the clientele that we serve, that's a word that maybe is not well defined or maybe not meaningful to them. I often run into colleagues or faculty at other places that might work in the area that we do, and they say, you know, our producers, they don't need science at that level. They need us to teach them. They need our opinions. They need our knowledge to teach them. And that's never been the focus of our work here at ONA. We call this commitment to scholarship something that we hold dear and true. And although I'm fully dedicated to it, it didn't begin with me. It's been handed down from each of the center directors, first starting with Dr. Kirk at our establishment in 1941, to Dr. Chapman in 1965, and Dr. Pate in 1983, and then to myself about 12 years ago. This idea of knowledge and respect and dedication and responsiveness of our faculty isn't enough. It's never enough. It's our center's commitment to scholarship that's created this foundation that's brought us to where we are today, and it's that foundation on scholarship that'll take us where we will go in the future. I really looked some time ago for a simple definition of scholarship. And my faculty that are here today, they're going to smile and shake their head because they're thinking, oh, Lord, John's going to talk about it again. But it's something that we all believe in and we all know is true. And I define it simply as creative intellectual thought that's validated by peers and that's communicated broadly. I like this definition for a variety of reasons. One, it adheres to our center's commitment to the tripartite role of the land grant mission. And it also embodies the principles of science that we're dedicated to. Creative intellectual thought, that's the pursuit of science. It's the first step in the scientific process. It's the ideas that we get from you to develop a logical rationale. It's the meaningful development of hypothesis testing. But the next step's probably more important, and that's the peer validation. It's the peer-reviewed process that you heard Jim talk about. It's probably the most critical step in this area of scholarship, but unfortunately, it's the one that's ignored the most. But then lastly, scholarship must be communicated broadly. You need to know about it, and this is our commitment to the principles of cooperative extension, to develop and extend meaningful, validated science to solve the problems that are impacting the clientele that we serve. So the ONA faculty differentiate themselves with this commitment to the peer review process. And in fact, I brought with me today something that I leave on my desk. The Journal of Animal Science is the leading scientific journal, peer-reviewed journal, for animal production throughout the world. It has the highest impact factor for any researcher that publishes in this journal. Although it occurred 75 years ago, in its first printing in 1942, faculty from this station published papers in this area. 75 years ago, they were creating science in the top leading journals, peer-reviewed, criticized by their colleagues around the world so that they could provide it back to the producers that we serve. That commitment remains unchanged today, and in fact, when you hear about all of these faculty, every month in top scientific journals around the world, we see publications from the ONA faculty. Our center is a leading unit in IFAS annually for the reporting metrics of published peer-reviewed literature. Among our faculty, we often say that if it's not peer-reviewed, it's just our opinion, right? And our producers have access to plenty of opinions. They need the real science, the peer-reviewed science, that makes a difference in their life. You've heard people talk about Gilbert Tucker, and when I was early hired here, Bert Tucker gave a talk on behalf of his father, Gilbert, who was the first hired employee here at the center. And he talked about how producers rely on the sound science that's produced by ONA faculty. I think what he meant was our commitment to scholarship. For the stakeholders that we serve, scholarship-based science has resulted in new, improved forage crops, fertilizer practices that address both economic and environmental issues, chemical and cultural weed control systems, cow herd nutrition protocols, and management considerations that help optimize the natural resources that you see on our Florida grazing landscapes. It's these science-based outcomes due to scholarship that you see visible on all of the Florida ranches. It's also these science-based outcomes that continue to foster this strong relationship that we have with the students or the clientele and students that we serve today. So where are we today? About 10 years ago, advisory council member asked me, 2005, what are our greatest needs? Approximately a year and a half after Hurricane Charlie. I said our greatest needs are facilities. And you look at what you can see around here today from those partnerships that we had, the things that Jim and Eric talked about, student housing, brand new laboratories and conference rooms, the Faculty Research Services Building and the Grazing Lands Education Building. Due to that, and due to many other things, it's increased the charitable giving that has came to this center. People see what's happening and they want to be part of it. They want to help make it even better than what it is today. When I started, the center didn't have any endowments at all. It's not because of me that our endowment success has been good, but it's because of all the fruit that was created by the people that came before us. I consider that some low-hanging fruit, because when we went and started asking people to consider endowment giving and to consider charitable giving in support of the center, it flew fairly rapidly. As Jim Hanley pointed out, it started with the endowment that Mr. Don Plagg gave in memory of his friend Finley Pate, which is now our cornerstone endowment called the Florida Cattlemen's Endowment. People continue to give to that, and that grows every year, and the proceeds and spendable income from that endowment is used to support graduate students, support early ideas in this area of sound science. Dr. Herb and Muncie Chapman set up another endowment that's here at our center. The Adams Ranch Endowment is an important and growing endowment for our center. Now our new endowment, the Dr. Elver Hodges Forage Management Endowment, has been established at our center. And then the Westway Fellowship for Liquid Feed Research. Currently, due to the sale of our ONA White Angus herd, the ONA faculty have decided to take over half of those proceeds and form the ONA White Angus Endowment. These financial resources, I believe, will be a cornerstone for the programs that will come. Also, long after we're gone, all of the faculty and many of the people in this room, your kids and grandkids will have perpetual income and perpetual support from these endowments. But all of these achievements mean nothing without the productive faculty. And today, the Range Cattle Station has the most complete base of on-site faculty expertise ever in its history. With beef cattle production, forage management, soil and water quality, weed management, range and wildlife ecology, and livestock and forage economics, we have a history that we can be proud of. In 2014, the faculty sat down and we created what we called a 5-year strategic plan. We wanted to see where we are today and how we're going to utilize these wonderful resources and ideas to propel us into the future. And we established a vision at that time to be the worldwide leader in research and education that impacts tropical and subtropical grazing lands. I'm proud to say that we're well on our way to achieving that goal. I don't know anywhere in the world where there is quite a combination of these types of faculty expertise that are addressing this single mission to make our grazing landscapes more productive, higher quality, and more sustainable for the future. Our faculty and staff are thankful to each of you for your continued support in helping make this vision a reality. So with that, I hope that you will please join me in helping us celebrate our 75th anniversary and all of those individuals that helped make this possible and those that are here with us today.